Cavalier hit Lima for 4, Tivoli was clear of the Lions, and there was a fierce battle in Mobe. But we start one place and one place only, and that's where Molynes showed Portmore that they got some fight in them. This is Match Week 18 Review Show. Yeah, people, welcome back to Jamaica Fun, and we're here to do it again. Round 18, I watched some great matches that happened over the weekend. I'm going to start, of course, here in Anthony Sporting Complex, where a fighting Molynes was playing against a surging Portmore United. This is one of those games that I predicted to be a 2-all match, and after the action of the first half, it just never seemed going to be anything like that. Molynes was trotting out their usual 4-4-2 with all eyes on Jason Wright, while Portmore United, they were without top scorer Siobhan Walsh, but they did bring in Stephen Barnett from Dunbeholden. Alex Marshall is also back and was looked to be the main guy for Portmore. So yeah, it's one of those, I think this obviously was perhaps the game of the weekend. As I said, the first half didn't give us that much. Portmore started the better of the two teams and completely dominated possession and were clearly like they were in control and had a clear plan on what they wanted to do. I felt Molynes were a bit taken aback by the fast start by Portmore, and it seemed they had to regroup and think of a plan B. But funny enough, despite Portmore dominance with the ball, Molynes were probably carving out more of the best chances in the first part of the game. They had a pop shot from far out that almost get past Portmore, and then this other shot that just went a bit wide. So Molynes were feeling themselves while Portmore was trying to get back in the game. They probably were looking to set pieces on that guy against Stevie Young, but it didn't do much. But the sheer skill of Alex Marshall shone when he got the ball on the left wing, did his thing, and then make a beautiful curling pass into a free Stephen Barnett, who was apparently caught in two minds, either to head the ball, but he chose to chest instead and went over the bar. Glorious chance for Portmore that was, and a glorious chance for Barnett to adhere himself to his new fans. But the game went from there, not much happenings in the first half, and it petered out to a 0-0. So you would think would be more of that in the second half. But credit to due to Molynes, who came with a bit more fire in their belly in the second half and got what they probably wanted with a decent start, with Jason Wright sneaking into the 6-yard box to coolly snuck it a pass to the Portmore keeper. It's one of those goals we are coming used to Jason Wright over the years, a real fox in the box type of goal, and at this point, Molynes was hoping to kick on. But Portmore, and absolute credit to them, they went into second gear and really stepped up the tempo and was started to really pressure the Molynes backline with a lot of high balls into the box, and Molynes defense was having struggles to defend it. Of course, the set piece was always a danger with Stephen Young, who's actually been scoring quite a lot of goals lately, and he got on a couple of them, including this nice, sweet turn in the box, letting you to believe this is actually a striker playing centre back. But the goal eventually came. Again, it was down to Marshall. Great passing. You know, he did his thing on the right wing this time with a beautiful curling ball that hit to the back post, and it was Morrison sneaking into the box with a beautiful header to give Portmore the deserved 1-1 tie. But they didn't stop there. They kept being relentless, and they go again. And this time, it was all down to Barnett, that despite his last miss, he powered his way past the defenders and then passed the ball past the keeper into the goal. It's one of those goals that all centre forwards would have loved, where you can use your power and strength to get your just desserts. Also, credit should be given to referee Dwyer for this one, where he allowed play to continue despite the obvious foul on Barnett in the build-up. So at that point, 2-1, and you will be thinking with their stellar defensive display they have so far in the season, this was game done and dusted. But Molynes, since the coaching change, is a completely different unit. They simply refuse to give up, and they control the game once more and then took the fight to Portmore, where they were coming more and more under attack. Jason Wright himself came alive, and especially with his great 1-2 he had, should have finished off his left foot. But the game was going on and more. You will be thinking if they don't find a goal soon, that Portmore will probably sneak away with a 2-1 win. But how came referee Dwyer this time when he was fooled by this obvious dive in the box that led to a penalty for Molynes? I have no idea what Knight, the captain Knight for Portmore, was thinking as he launched into the play, but if you look on replay, he absolutely did not touch Molynes' player, and the Molynes player sold a 10 out of 10 dive in the pool. Nonetheless, it was the penalty given. Many believe this was referee Dwyer's made-up call after the non-call on the penalty earlier. But nonetheless, but the captain Jason Wright stood up once more and slotted away to give them a cool 2-2 draw. So yeah, that was a great game. I think great fun. The second half was absolutely the much better of the two. And Molynes have shown that they would not be rolling over and accepting defeat for anyone. What was the stats like? Yeah, so as I said, first half didn't show much and a lot of the shots came in the second half. Molynes had 14 compared to Portmore 10 overall. Molynes also had 5 shots on target and Portmore United also had 5 shots on target. 3 corners to Portmore's 9 and 3 yellow cards for Molynes compared to Portmore's 1. So yeah, the highlights as well as the stats backed up what I'm saying, that this game was probably deserved 2-all for both teams. Both of them had their spell of dominance in the game, but I feel that Portmore will feel a bit aggrieved that they managed to give up a needless penalty. Sure, it was a dive, but you just don't lunge like that when you have so many other players in the box helping you defend. While Molynes, while they feel a way that after taking the lead they allowed Portmore back in the game, should feel good that they are now played both Mount Pleasant as well as Portmore and come away with no defeats. This should spur them on again to give them some confidence as they're trying to stave away Treasure Beach in the relegation zone. So once again, it finished Molynes United 2, Portmore United 2. The next game we're going to look at right now is Cavalier playing Lime at the Anthony Spalding Complex. Cavalier, who are sure have one small eye on their big Conca Cup Champions Cup match that's coming up in a few days, went into this match hoping to continue leading the table after when it's done. While Lime, who finally got their first win last week against Treasure Beach, will be hoping to build on some momentum and get another win under their belt. But that will be a tall harder against Cavalier team that has not conceded much goals at all. In fact, they have 8 clean sheets in 9, and as the game started, it seemed immediately that was going to be the case. Lime started their usual composure on the ball, but when they finally decided to go into attack, they just needlessly launched it in hopes for something happening. While Cavalier, it seemed like it's a completely different team compared to how they were playing the last few weeks. In those games, they conceded the ground and possession and sat in a shell, but for this match, they clearly had the shackles off. They were really passing around some neat football and they were trying to get all their main attackers on the ball. Thomas, who was back in the team, didn't start, and it was once against Russell, who himself got some decent chances in the beginning. But it was that guy, the one that's in main form right now, Jamal Calvin, who broke the deadlock. Again, absolutely no idea why Lime have left their backline open like this and allowed Ainsworth a bag of space to basically do what he wants and take his time to pick out a streaking Calvin in the middle of the goal. Absolutely jarring defending from Lime, and it got worse from there. Cavalier was simply creating more and more chances, with Russell himself getting 1 and 2. In the second half, it got even more dire for Lime in my eyes. It seemed like they completely lost the plot and allowed Irving to carry the ball forward and picked out a good goal as a right back. The captain gets his one, and at this point they were 2-0, and you would think a team that is fighting for their life in relegation would turn on the jets and hope to get something out of it. But I saw the complete opposite. They were absolutely dejected after this second goal from Cavalier and absolutely lost the spirit to fight. So much so that Thomas was able to come up right off the bench and able to waltz his way into the box to fire for a right-footed shot to give Cavalier 3-0. At this point, Climelord basically was thinking about going home. Atkinson finding himself in the box to give himself the 4th goal. So in the end, Cavalier basically could have 5 or 6 more, but they just basically rested the main players at this point, while Lime absolutely decided it's time to go home. Okay, let's look at the stats. Cavaliers, to represent their absolute dominance in this game, they had 16 total shots compared to Lime 3. Cavalier also had 6 shots on target compared to 0 from Lime 6 corners for Cavalier compared to Lime 3, 1 yellow card apiece. So yeah, not much more to write home about this game. Obviously, Lime, who are fighting for their life, should be fighting for their life, puts up absolutely no resistance to Cavalier. It was actually very easy for Cavalier to basically run up the score here. Lime should really take a page from what is seen in other leagues in the world, where if you're there in the relegation zone, you should look to keep it tight and compact at the back and make it difficult for your better opponents. They didn't do that. They had an absolutely jarring high line, and then even when they were not too high, they simply just allowed the players to come in with it easy. So again, it finished Cavalier 4, Lime 0. Okay, for the next game, we're going all the way into Clarendon for Effortsville, where Molynes has returned home to face a surging Tivoli Gardens. Molynes has seen 2 defeats in a row, but they will hope a home field advantage will get them back in good shape. While Tivoli now will be feeling that they're unstoppable after their big win in the derby last week despite being down to 10 men. So how this one played out? Well, the score might shock you at the end, but the performance was actually very good for Molynes, and they had better to play throughout the game. They started well and composed on the ball, but could not necessarily break the resolute Tivoli team. So they were in much of the control of the game, but out of nowhere, they made an absolute error, made Lennox Russell get into the goal and find a way past them right before the stroke of half time. It was another unfortunate error for Molynes, and one that you think will have gotten them off their game, but credit to them, they did come out in the second half and the same forward foot and was trying to get the equalizer. They were playing just as well as they were in the first half, but again, out of nowhere, a sucker punch happened from Tivoli, where Justin Dunn got a ball that was bouncing about at the top of the 18-yard box with 3 defenders around him, and somehow contorted his way to get the ball over the keeper's head into the back of the net. Justin Dunn, who was on a goal-scoring drought before the derby, they saw the penalty open up the floodgates for him, and this was a well-taken goal. But this was absolutely dejecting for Molynes, who once again saw the good play ruined by some poor defensive errors, and they couldn't believe they allowed Tivoli to score another against a rudder play. So how was the stats for this game against a rudder play? They could not muster anything else from there, and the game petered out for an easy 2-0 win in the end for Tivoli. So what was the stats like? Well, Molynes had 10 total shots compared to Tivoli 14. A lot of those shots for Tivoli came after that second goal that scored. Molynes had 2 shots on target compared to Tivoli 7. Again, most of those came after that second goal. 3 corners for Molynes compared to Tivoli 7. 1 yellow card apiece. So yeah, Molynes having issues breaking down teams, it seems, despite having a good amount of possession, while many will say Tivoli's play reluctant to go forward and soak a lot of pressure was all a master plan by Jerome Waite. So Tivoli once again not necessarily had the most sparkling performance, but the result is all that matters, and they did it again. While Molynes will probably feel disappointed that they didn't take advantage playing at home in Clarendon. So once again, it finished Molynes 0, Tivoli 2. We now move on to St. Catherine, when Dunbeholden were back into familiar territory at the Dunbeholden Sports Complex, and they welcome disarray's Treasure Beach. Dunbeholden though saw some poor performances, having sliding all the way out of the top 6, while Treasure Beach had the unthinkable happen by losing to the one winless team left in the league last week, and now saw their coach Rambo Wedderburn resigning. So how would this one turn out? You would think this would be a slam dunk with Dunbeholden. Well, I had them predicted as a 2-0 victory, and in the 70th minute, when Nicholas Nelson found a way to get into the goal scoring column, you would think it was leading towards that. From there, they did the usual stuff. They were controlling the passage of play, controlling possession, but it was not penetrative enough. For a team that has a negative goal difference, it's not that surprising. And then anytime you cannot finish our team, no matter how poor they are, you give them a chance to get back in the game. And what a way they did. Romario Bryan with a brilliant goal to bring them back into this one at 1-1 right before the half time. Dunbeholden was probably shocked to concede such a goal, and in the second half they tried to get on the front foot again with a lot of possession and decent more shots, but Treasure Beach stuck their guns out. This was more of the fight I was talking about. I expected Limehall to give Cavalier. In the end, Dunbeholden could not find a way past the gate, and it ended 1-1 in Dunbeholden. What was the stats like? Yeah, Dunbeholden as usual, lots of possession, but not much going forward. They had 5 total shots compared to Treasure Beach 4. 2 of those shots were on target compared to Treasure Beach 1. 3 corners to Dunbeholden compared to Treasure Beach 4, and 4 yellow cards to Treasure Beach in this one as they tried to throw off Dunbeholden from the possession game. So yeah, absolutely disappointing for Lenny Hyde and his team. They need to find a way that, yes, possession is one way to keep your opponents off the goal scoring column, but you need to find a way to put it in the net. All the possession without a goal scoring threat means nothing. While Treasure Beach probably got a bit of a new coach bounce, even though it is basically 4 of them around there coaching, should feel elated that they got a good point here on the road. They got some good performances from Romario Bryan especially, and they hope say they somehow can come together as a unit and amount an unlikely escape plan. It doesn't look likely, but at least give them credit to go down swinging. So once again, he finished Dunbeholden 1, Treasure Beach 1. So we move on to the final game that happened on Sunday, and that was with Arnett traveling all the way west to Montego Vere United. Molynes has been buzzing with some decent performance lately thanks to their new players, and we'll be hoping to make Westport Park as difficult for the Kingston Travellers. While Arnett has been the team that's been in the news all week, as people cannot believe their performance has led to them losing that derby. How did they bounce back? Absolutely credit to Xavier Gilbert and his men as they fought against a very tough Montego Vere United in a very tough setting. The game was basically dead equal throughout most of this one, as both teams struggled to break down each other. It was absolutely consolation as they cancelled each other at every turn. It was a very physical affair and a very good effort by both teams, but it has lacked any true finishing quality. Montego Vere United did tire in the second half, and at this point it looked like Arnett was going to find an unlikely winner, but credit to Montego Vere, they regrouped and they finished more the stronger, especially with 3-4 set pieces right at the death to pressure Arnett back line. But credit to the keeper as well as the defenders, who got a lot of flack for how they played last weekend, as they kept their composure and kept Moby at bay. So this was a very equal affair, and so it ended. It finishes 0-0 between Montego Vere United and Arnett Guns. On to the Monday night was now. Vere United with some new players in tow welcome Waterhouse in the Anthony Spalding Complex. Waterhouse now sit in 6th and probably saw Dunbeholden result the day before, knew this was a great opportunity for them to bring some daylight. While Vere, I think they simply want to get back in some kind of winning form after they've been seeing they're losing a lot of matches lately. They also been conceding a lot of goals lately, and in the first part of this game, it seemed that was en route again. Waterhouse dominated the early proceedings, and a lot of their attacks were coming from Mitchell on the left wing, who was trying to dazzle his way through the Vere defenders. But it came down to their main man, Javier Bryan, as usual, with a size header parried into the path of Mitchell, who finished off a good goal for Waterhouse. Mitchell, who was on stellar form, who played his way into the starting lineup, saw him humble last weekend against Cavalier. Must be feeling great to be back on the score sheet here. But credit should be given to Vere though. Once they were behind, they decided to step up their play. I was coming at Waterhouse from there. They controlled proceedings from there and carved out some great chances, but there simply was no one there to take them. Bushy Beckford is now in a bit of a goal scoring drought, and that should worry Vere as chance after chance went begging. So in the end, Waterhouse rode their luck and saw the game and somehow got a clean sheet as they finished 1-0 to the Firehouse. So what were the stats like? Yeah, so just to show how Vere regrouped and came back at Waterhouse after that early deficit, they had 13 total shots in the game compared to Waterhouse 11. But this is where the part that they should be worried about. They had 9 total shots on target compared to Waterhouse 5. 4 corners to Vere went compared to 10 from Waterhouse, and they had 3 yellow cards compared to 1 from Waterhouse. So yeah, Vere simply having a goal scoring issue, but should have heart all the way they fought back. It's one of the better performances I've seen in the last couple of weeks. While Waterhouse, again, they lack a consistent 90 minutes, but in a tight race for 6, who cares when you get the 3 points? Brilliant again from Javier Bryan, who did some good work in this game, and Mitchell is playing like he's Robin to his Batman. But the midfield still needs more touching up, I think, to give them a more consistent team going forward. So once again, it finished Vere 0, Waterhouse 1. And the final game of the weekend was probably billed as the biggest game of the weekend, as Harbourview welcomed the defending champions Mount Pleasant. Harbourview themselves is actually been buzzing after scoring 4 against Molynes, with feeling fairly confident in this game, and it showed as Demar Rose, who's been absolutely on fire lately, of a great chest pass and got himself in a good shot on goal to get him the 1-0 lead. At this point, we all were thinking Harbourview was going to finally show this league what they're truly made of, but credit should be given to Mount Pleasant, who did not lose them head and kept them composure and keep plugging away at the Harbourview defense. That guy, Devontae Campbell, who was quickly becoming my favorite winger in this league, was relentless and was uncontrollable by the Harbourview defense. Everything was coming through him, and he was hard to handle. It was also interesting to see him play on the right wing, as most of his success in the early part of the season came on the left wing, but the goal finally came after him and Daniel Green switched wings. After Bradford made some good play and found Daniel Green in front of the goal, who made a great left-footed shot, but was parried all the way to Campbell, who slotted it home for a 1-1 tie. At that point, Montego went into second gear and started the football, and Campbell himself was a man that was playing like he was on ice, as he was just sipping past defenders, and it was too much for those said defenders, who eventually brought him down in the box to give Montego a chance and go ahead in the game. Bradford against his old team stood up and took the penalty to give a 2-1 lead. At this point, Lolo Bernard would probably hoping Harborview took a page out of their rivals and be a bit more composed to get back in the game, but Harborview actually lost their head at this point, and a lot of chippy, rash tackles were coming out. I actually think they were very lucky to not pick up any red cards, as Breckenridge and Angling got themselves some needless yellow cards. The first half ended with some very cheaply play, and the no ball game was really flowing. As for the second half though, I think Topper Whitmore experience of coaching came in hand here, as it seemed his team decided to just simply manage the game out. The second half was nowhere near as exciting as the first one, as there wasn't that much chances, as More Pleasant simply just kept the ball and decided to ease their way out of this one. While Harborview main problem breaking on teams showed its ugly head again, as they were having difficulty to create anything against a resolute back line of Mount Pleasant in the second half. They tried their best to get back in the game, but I think they were desperate enough to really show that they wanted to come back into this one. Harborview needed more bodies in the box, I think, and I think they should have gone more direct, instead of trying to possess and pass the way through both lines of midfield and defense for Mount Pleasant. In the end, it ended up Peter out an easy 2-1 victory for the champions. So what were the stats like in this one? Well, Harborview again started very brightly, and they had 4 total shots overall compared to Mount Pleasant 9. Harborview scored off the 1 shot on target, while Mount Pleasant only had 2 shots on target. Not much corners in this one, only 1 from Mount Pleasant, but 6 yellow cards by Harborview compared to 4 from Mount Pleasant. Yeah, so Coach Bernard was asked a question about the indiscipline, and he actually believed that his players were fine, and actually thought the referee decisions went against him. I'm not sure I necessarily agree with that one. I thought Harborview, when he conceded the second one, should have kept their composure a bit better, and I thought that in the second half they should have shown more ambition in get back into the game. Why Mount Pleasant? Well, credit to them. They didn't lose them head, they kept it right on them body and simply played their football to the very end. Devontae Campbell is a gem, and then we need to enjoy him in this league as much as we can. I don't see him staying here much longer if he continue playing like this. But in the end, a good win for Mount Pleasant to keep pace with Cavalier, and he finished 2-1 Mount Pleasant against Harborview. So where that leaves us in terms of the table, Cavalier remain in first position on 40 points from their 18 games played, but they are closely tracked by Mount Pleasant, who are on 39 points in 18 games. Tivoli though have cemented their place in top 3 for now with 37 points, and Portmore with drop points for first time in a while have seen them on 36 in 4th. Arnett bounced back from their defeat to get a credible draw in Mobay to stay in 5th with the 33 points, but Waterhouse probably have the biggest smiles on their face this weekend, and there's a bit more daylight between them and Dunbeholden as they are in 6th position with 26 points. Dunbeholden slipping away from top 6, they are on 24 points in 7th. Montego Bates is also in the mix in 8th position with 22 points. Harborview is there in 9th with 19 points. Vere is dropping down the table with 19 points after 18 games. Molynes is not moving at all with 18 points after 18 games. And Molynes is close to ensuring that they will be back next season in the Premier League, and they are in 12th position but with 16 points. That's 8 more than Treasure Beach, who should take heart with a credible draw this weekend, but they are still in 13th place and a far distance away from safety with 8 points. While Lymore, it seems that they're back to reality and they're stuck at the bottom of the table with 7 points. Yes, so match week 18 was absolutely another fun time out in the Jamaica Premier League, and it was good to see some good battles out there. I thought Mobay was going to definitely get a win against Arnett, and I must say it was a pleasure to see the fans come out in full at Westport Park. It was a terrorizing atmosphere, but the Junglers found a way to fight their way out of it. So yeah, it was very enjoyable. I will look forward to match week 19 with the same excitement to see our local footballers put on a show. So thanks again for everybody for watching our review show. We'll be back on Friday to preview that match week 19. And for everything else at the Jamaican Premier League, you're already at the right place. Jamaican fan. Big up YouTube.